if Disney Plus had any balls, that's what we would be getting right now. Not this, oh, they're cartoons for people in the United States made by Japanese animators. Isn't that amazing and exotic? No, we would take us back to America first.
Oh, no.
USA,
Oh, no.
USA. Screech
Oh.
Powers. Never forget. So yeah, how's it going, everyone? How's it going, Mr. Rob, my sketchy friend?
Uh,
during
well, as you
during
can see by my current location, right?
yes,
I'm a little bit more
Max.
chipper than Dagobah, right?
Mhm.
Like Dagobah is the real detention for Jedis. Like I think.
I should have put the peach pit behind me, and then people could have called me a fake fan.
Oh man, rest in peace Disney XD, right? Like that's where this would have all ended up. Like
and all
just the
and the Emoji Movie, all things emoji. Rest in peace.
I want people to know a little something that happens, and you'll be aware of this. Is Google does these things called trend alerts, right? They put out
Hmm.
this report, sometimes yearly, sometimes I don't know, like it's random, but they put out these trends reports, and companies since I don't know 2011, 2012 have been reacting to these trends reports as if they'll make them money, and that means like all these people search for this or they use this, and this is what people are doing online. And this is
Yeah,
why emojis ended up everywhere and got a fucking movie.
yeah,
Like, and I used to get things in t-shirts, right? Like, especially towards 2014 or 15 is when I started to come across. They'd go, "Hey man, we got to do stuff with like pizza, like food all over." I'm like, "Why?" "Oh, like all over. That's what people wear." I'm like, "No one's wearing a giant taco shirt for some asshole from Walmart." You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like what? I'm like, is this a bad idea? You know? And what is this? And that's when I learned about Google Trend alerts. And most recently, I've noticed it in any place. If you do printing online, they
Hmm.
used to all have different names, like stores, like a Kinko's or something. But now they all have the word print in their name. They all change their names to print because I guarantee you, Google put out a trend alert that said print is the number one thing, and now everyone sounds the same, and none of the companies have their own identity. I'm just bringing it up because like this is why you get this en masse like groupthink with like trends, you know, that or things that appear now at stores or anything else. And I don't know why it ties into Saved by the Bell, but I know that's what it, right now. If you got Saved by the Bell trending, buddy, right?
No, I won't.
Yeah.
I won't.
All right. Well,
Unfortunately, no. Yeah, I have a friend who does music stuff, and he uses those Google Trends to find what to troll in his songs because he likes to use his songs to troll, or at least he did, anyways. And there's a really
yeah.
good band called Bodega, and they actually have a song about somebody wearing a pizza shirt like you've described. That's really good, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah, and they lost money on all that stuff. You know, I had to
Yeah.
like when it happened, I'm like, told you. And so I had to tell some salespeople, I'm like, do you understand how Google makes their money? They don't make their money by figuring out what people are looking for and to get ahead of the curve, like some insider trading. They make their money by limiting what people can search and find.
Yeah.
And directing and narrowing people's viewpoints to things based on what people pay them to narrow the viewpoint to, you know?
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. The old Darth Vader force choke. It works every time. Um, Really quickly, before we were about to start right now, I was messaged on Twitter by a nice person who's like, "Hey, did you see this article?" And it's at filmmusicreporter.com that James Newton Howard to compose music for Disney Plus series Willow. James Newton Howard, The Hunger Games, King Kong, Maleficent, The Sixth Sense, Signs, has revealed in a recent interview in the latest episode of Score, the podcast, that he is
or my
attached,
autobiography. Yeah.
or something I don't do very often anymore. That he is attached to compose music for Lucasfilm's upcoming Disney Plus original series Willow. The show is developed by Jonathan Kasdan, Solo: A Star Wars Story in the Land of Women. There's a comma there. It's not called Solo: A Star Wars Story in the Land of Women. That sounds cool though.
In a multiverse with Lando, it would have most certainly been. It would have been that would have been what the guys who made 21 Jump Street 1 and 2 would have made.
And it says, and Wendy Miracle Arrow. And stars Warwick Davis, who returns in the title role alongside Aaron Kellerman, Ellie Bamber, Tony Revolori, Ruby Cruz, and Amir Patel. The fantasy drama space, blah blah blah, and then I think we know the rest there. So if you put on the King Kong soundtrack, the Sixth Sense and Signs, and if you have ever been hungry enough to watch the Hunger Games, then you should be happy about this. It doesn't sound like an awful. I mean, I guess it could be like, somebody who just does stuff for, the cooking channel or something. So it's like,
no, James Newton Howard's like probably my top 5 composers of all time.
He,
if you want to see something amazing, it's old.
But could he do the Saved by the Bell theme song? Probably. Like,
yeah, he has such amazing range.
Could he do it though? I mean, could he really do it? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, look,
I don't think so.
Look,
I don't think so.
Look,
probably not.
Part of it is you have to have the balls to do the lyrics yourself. So James Newton has to also sing it. Then we'll see if he can get there.
Right. Okay. All right. I'm over my petty jealousy, and I am willing to hear about this man's talent.
What if I guess Peacock didn't renew their Saved by the Bell relaunch, but like, what if they had, and they're like, hey, Wards, we want you to do the bumpers, or something. Like, wouldn't that be odd?
Does it star Jimmy Smits? I'm out.
And then you turn it down.
I'm out.
I appreciate your artistic integrity. I'm a total sellout.
Meanwhile, the power goes out in my house because I haven't paid the electricity bill.
Right. People are like, I don't want to sell. I'll sell out. I don't care. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, if you type in "Lady in the Water," Return of the Jedi. So James Newton Howard did this. There's this motif, this piece of music that he did the score for in Lady in the Water, and they synced it to Luke when he throws away his lightsaber, right to the. And it's a piece of music that I'm like, fucking dude should be composing some Star Wars music. It's not John Williams by any measure, but it works.
Yeah.
And James Newton Howard also did the Atlanta soundtrack. Like, if you ever scored Atlantis, and he co-composed on Batman Begins, and he put all like the subtle motifs and stuff,
So he's the George Harrison of the Batman Begins band. Really doing a lot
but
of,
he makes great music
lifting.
videos. He makes great music videos, bro.
By the way, I watched your stream today, Star Wars Santa. But my phone needed to charge from all the editing that I was doing back and forth on it today. And he says he's convinced that Meg makes it a goal to embarrass me every time he does a live stream. You were the one that got hardened, friend. I saw that. In case anybody's wondering, Star Wars Santa was really worried about everybody getting hardened. Just you gotta watch the episode. It was very sexy, very cool. But anyways, oh yeah, by the way, during the opening when I played the Saved by the Bell spoof, I don't know if All Hands on Deck was doing it in reference to what was coming, but he wrote boom. I was able to get that up right on time for the opening for when it happened, and I was like, we are I call it YouTube jazz, just kind of like just freestyling. And then Mr. Thrawn talks in the car on the way to LA. I think he's gonna get me for going to bed early last night. He texted me last night. He's like, "Hey, you want to do like a midnight stream or something?" He's like, "I got the time or something." I was just like, "I'm asleep. I'm asleep." Actually, this one of the rare times I was asleep. I didn't get it until like 3 a.m. But I think we'll see him on Monday with his new microphone, and it'll be a whole new experience. We'll know what he's saying. At least I think so. I can't promise that, but I think so. But yeah. So basically, is this dude who's doing Willow? Is he like the M. Night composer for all of his films?
I don't know about all of them, but yeah, Unbreakable. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did quite
the
a bit
main
of
ones because yeah,
Unbreakable is amazing too. But I mean, even in his most recent years, like I said, he's done so many. I'd say him and Thomas Newman probably. Once you get out of like the Williamses and the Alan Silvestris and stuff, like those two guys are right up there. Like they're interchangeable. But yeah, James Newton Howard again for some reason, maybe because he wasn't on like, I mean, he was on Batman Begins, but most people just remember Hans Zimmer for some reason. I don't,
Yeah.
like that's, and I think he stepped down because the Academy was like, we can't award Oscar to dual composers because of the stupid rules that they have that make no fucking sense. So
That's why I say the Oscars are stupid. Who cares? How do
yeah, I'm like,
you?
why don't you guys just make great music? Fuck the. Do you need the Oscar for the Batman soundtrack? Does
Yeah,
like
yeah.
does that did Prince getting a Grammy for Party Man mean anything? Did that change his career?
Nope. I guarantee
No,
you
still
this:
left Warner Brothers.
Party Man's badass, and a lot of stuff that won the Oscars isn't. And
Right, and he still
most,
left Warner Brothers like right after. So
uh,
it's like,
I, I have a friend who is able to vote for the Oscars.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's like
doesn't watch shit.
right,
Doesn't watch any of it. Doesn't
right.
really care that much, and will just vote on what they think they're supposed to vote for. You know, it's like lazy democracy, but for entertainment. It's like, what are you doing? But that's why all Hollywood producers do cocaine. I told you guys, wasn't joking. It's serious. It's a problem. Um, oh, this is just completely a side thing because I'll do what I want. It's our show. We can do whatever we want. Um, Tom DeLonge was talking about UFO stuff, and they're asking him where he got his videos, and he's all, where we got our videos from, the ones we put out. Well, they had 26, and that one was a very small branch of a bigger tree. Some of the videos have UFOs 10 feet away from the F-18, tracking them for 20 minutes, and it's all on camera. The UFO's going 600 miles an hour. The pilot's freaking out, screaming, and this thing is just scanning the plane for a whole 20 minutes. We almost got that one out, but there were higher ups in the Pentagon who were really pissed when they found out these were getting declassified. And then he laughs because he's Tom DeLonge. Yeah, there's a lot out there for sure. I need that video. I need that video. I want to see a UFO with the pilot going, ah!
Yeah, I'm not too keen on guys who go, we had something, couldn't do it. So,
Well, no, I
I,
mean, I follow you there. Like when it's like, oh, I got a big scoop, but I can't tell you about it. Jeez, Force Awakens is gonna be cool.
the higher ups
That
at
guy.
Lucasfilm aren't glad that I did.
But when somebody has delivered and then says it,
I hear you. I
it's more
hear
of
you.
a
The
yeah.
Tom DeLonge though, it's just that the the transfer of power from DeLonge to Jeremy Corbell like
Mhm.
was weird. It's not like it was intentional, but it just like it was like a baton handing in a way to me. Like the way I perceived it as a general, fan of it. I'm certain that if anyone who was following it day by day, it wasn't that way, but that's how
Yeah,
it sort of perceived to me. That was like, boom, your turn. So
I could be all in my head, but I think I know exactly how they're doing it because the government had a problem with their PR. They wanted Tom DeLonge initially because they didn't know how to get shit out to normal people or how to make it matter and how to make it like not like attention Americans, it's the end of the world. The UFOs are coming to kill you all, that kind of thing.
oh, the
And
pandemic.
so
I'll take the
yeah,
UFOs over this.
but I mean, it's just like how Lucasfilm will give EW cover, and then they'll go over to Empire and do it with Empire. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a bit of it is spreading it around. But Ryan Sprague from Somewhere in the Skies says on one of those videos, I don't know if it's this one, but people and I trust this guy, like he's never bullshitted. And he says that people in the government, I think he said the CIA, but I'm not sure about that now. But he said that he's been contacted, the videos are real, and it's coming. So I hope
Wish
that
he brought
pans
that up
out.
to Mick West. I listened
Yeah,
to the whole interview, which we'll have to talk about tomorrow night if you want to do the UFO cast. But
just do it.
yeah, like I don't know, man. Like I said, dude, you know me. I've had some weird experiences. I'm totally open to it in many ways, believe it. And I'm a Bob Lazar guy. However, I told you, it's just like when I hear what we could have, but we didn't, though it's the same thing as like, hey, we had a script, but we didn't use it. all right, it's interesting to find out what that is. And then when we read the Duel of Fates, I'm like, please stop making me read it. This is what I get for bringing it up. Why did I do this to myself?
But it is one of those things where if something exists, you know it does, and you don't talk about it, it gets forgotten, and then it never
That's
comes
true.
out.
But what happened with Tom? I mean, I just heard so many things. Like someone said they got a hold of him. Maybe he had a breakdown, or he was just
Nah,
too much attention, or he just withdrew. Like,
nah.
did he get
What?
burnt out quickly? Like,
Nah. The Somewhere to the Stars thing, I didn't really like fall apart, but it kind of a lot of the big rock stars in it moved on to other things, and they basically, I think the people that were involved in the initial stages of that did what they intended to do. They weren't like, it wasn't like there was a loyalty to somewhere in the star, or I mean, to making it, to making that a brand, if you will. And Tom DeLonge is running it like an entertainment company and an information company.
that's weird.
So yeah, so I mean, you never know. It might swing back around. It might come back and might be a part of it and part of that stuff. On the flip side of it, when you look at his media appearances that he did, they did kind of like the Joe Rogan one. It didn't work. Joe Rogan made him look like he was a lunatic and nobody believed him. Now, when you look back at what he was talking about, it's all like, oh, okay. But at the time, he was ridiculed for it. So it kind of didn't work. I mean, excuse me, in some ways, it wasn't the
Yeah,
best idea.
the guy who sleeps in a sleep deprivation chamber, like Daredevil from the Ben Affleck movie. Like, you think Joe Rogan saw the Daredevil movie, was like, I should, Daredevil does that, I'll do it. Like, and
I mean, ever since he's been dormed, I just think he's a new man, and I think anything's possible. You know, I like my dewormed
fucking
Joe Rogan.
fucking thumbhead. They all look like thumbs after a while. I don't know what it is with that fucking look, man. Like, they go through stages. First, they get the hat and they get the raptor glasses, right? And they get the beard and the too tight shirt, and then eventually they just look like thumbs. You know?
I'm working
Then we
on
end up
it.
in thumb wars.
I'm
See, I
working
brought it
on
all
it.
back. I brought it all back.
Andrew Paul says, listening to years of Art Bell in the 90s, man, so many quacks, hoaxes, and snake oil, but sure made for entertaining radio.
Yeah, I
And
love it.
yeah,
You got it. The ones that break my heart are when Heaven's Gate used to come on before the Heaven's Gate scenario.
right.
And so if you want to listen, if you want to educate yourself on what a cult sounds like before they kill themselves, go
Mm-hmm.
listen to those interviews and
Yeah.
then pay attention to what you're hearing today, and you'll hear the real cult like behavior out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the thing about a lot of this stuff, even Star Wars, sadly, sometimes is it becomes sort of a worldview and a perspective. And once you start playing with that, you get into people's beliefs, and it can go kind of sideways. I mean, the
You,
UFO
you
stuff
remember
more, but
you remember like 10 years ago, it was like that big thing going around that it was like, oh, so many people in the UK identified as a Jedi as their religion. Remember that
yeah.
story? Like, how do you think George felt about that? You think that weird him, or you think he liked the money? Yeah. Because
Because
if I created something that people identify as a religion, it would generally not sit well with me. Like, I know.
well, is Jay here from yesterday, who we talked about Coppola with? Um, Coppola wanted George to turn it into a Scientology style cult. He's like, no, take all this stuff. And yeah, he did. And I'm not even joking. Coppola
What?
was like, take all these ideas and make it into a religion. You'll make more money than you ever make off a movie. Like, do it. And I when that stuff was
Oh,
happening, I
no.
just saw George going, I'm getting to have my cake and eat it too. I
Can't
didn't
sell
make
a
a cult.
church to Disney. They are a church.
The Church of White Slavers. Yeah.
Mongolian barbecue. Look,
Oh,
it
the
catches up with you.
the producer in my ear saying, talk about Star Wars every few minutes or people will get mad. Um, so anyways, the people that Disney likes a lot got to get screeners of Visions.
Okay.
The anime show Star Wars Visions, and
All right. I'm
they're
excited.
they're as short as 13 minutes as long as 22 minutes,
Mhm.
and it's about 2.5 hours of total entertainment. So it's sort of like, and when you get down to it, it's almost like going to see an anthology film. There's
But
more
yeah,
than.
that's what everyone expected, like the Animatrix. Remember Gotham Knights?
Mhm.
Obviously these days, Love, Death, Robots. Back in the day, heavy metal.
Yeah, heavy metal was great.
Way back there. Way back
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I like heavy metal. That was cool. It was a good magazine. Is it still around? Do they
Yeah.
still produce it? Like,
Yeah, there's some Kevin Eastman owned it. He bought that. And I talked to him about it, and he was like, "Look, man, we have subscribers, and we do everything by the mail. Of course, I wonder what mail rates have gotten him
dude,
into these days. So
yeah, yeah. So make Star Wars heavy metal. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm like it's weird. Like, this is like this month is Vision's month. And just not getting in the Vision spirit of things this year, you
just
know?
disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's because look at that. Look at where you live. You live in this
Mhm.
dark hovel. Look at that
We
blue
got we,
dark
we got
rain. Looks
we
like
got Dark Side Caves.
Yeah, it looks like a shitty pool in Marin County. You know,
Do you know
but
what
look where I'm
happens?
living. I'm
You
living
know
in
what?
anime land, bro. Like,
If
look
you
at
go
it.
if you go into a dark side cave and you're not on a quest, you get your butt spanked. You just get little spankings. It's weird.
Just smells like raccoon poop down there.
It's weird. It's weird here. Yeah, it smells like raccoon turds and little dark side hands just spank your butt. Oh,
what what movie was it where the hands? Oh, was it Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Remember they're walking out on the plane and these like smacks would smack them in the face.
hmm hmm
I love that movie, man. People hate it. I don't know why.
Why
It's
would anybody
I,
hate the movie?
Bro, my wife loves Hitchhiker's Guide, the book. She all the time she reads it, listens to audio novel. She wouldn't watch that movie. She's like, I
Yeah.
hate it.
Hmm.
What are you talking? I was in the theater loving this fucking thing. Made her rewatch it. She's like, it's better than I remember. I'm like, I don't know. It's Jim Henson. It's got Sam Rockwell. It's got Martin Freeman. It's got Zooey Deschanel. It's got Orlando Jones. I mean, what are you talking about? This fucking
Got
movie's
Snape as a robot,
Yeah, it's
a
got
sad
Snape as
robot.
a robot. We named our she bought one of those little things that fucking vacuum your floor.
A
You
maid.
know,
Was it
little
a
robot
person?
maid. The
Is
robot one
is
that
it alive?
zooms.
Is
It's one
it
of those
is it
little
a
robot ones. I named it
okay?
Marvin because
A
it's got a
Roomba. I think it's a Roomba.
Roomba. Yeah, it's a Marvin.
A
So
Marvin.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the name of the robot in Hitchhiker's Guide. So.
Tired
But
of
yeah,
picking
Hitchhiker's
up
Guide
after
walks
these
up.
people and all their stupid shit on the floor.
Yeah, and so in the Dagobah cave, it's like this, but it's just your ass. Whoa! But with Yoda, it hits him in the head because it's like a one size fits all.
Yeah, and then there's like there's Mando news, right? And honestly, I try not to fake it. I figure if I find it kind of as whatever as everybody as I do, everybody else does to some extent. But there's like a listing that was put up on the Twitter machine, and it basically says it confirms, I believe, Bespin Bulletin's initial report that September 20th was going to be the start of the filming of it. And I mean, that's, you mean have a confirmed date, that's cool. So I'm not knocking it. But I will say it's supposed to range from September 20th to March 23rd. And people are acting like it's news, like it's important news. It's like filming really begins in October. Every time on Mandalorian, we've run up into the same schedule as the last two Mandalorian runs. And once you hit October, that's where it really gets going. And then it goes pretty heavily up until Christmas. They take a Christmas break, and then they come back, and then they finish up and up until March. And that's exactly how it's gone every single time. And I'm just throwing it out there that this is could be very well perfectly 100% accurate, but it also is the same as the last two productions, so it could just be a date range based off of the past, how it how
Right.
it how it went before, you know.
Well, you'll
But
know when you go down there with your iced coffee and the Santa Anas.
bloody nose. I'm
Dude.
gonna be like picking my nose on the camera. Be like, "Are you picking your nose?" No, it's got blood coming out constantly.
Oh, God.
That's what it's like. I hate it.
If we could just merge Star Wars scoops with the state, it'd be like the most horrific, entertaining show ever.
I just wanted to be like, oh, you want to know something? Look at the blood from my nostrils from the Santa Ana winds.
You suffer for your fans.
Oh, and it also means if Santa Ana wins and blowing up my nose, giving me bloody nose, it means that I was the Santa Ana IP address that stalked or harassed Kelly Marie Tran. It all adds up now, quartering.
They're just gonna take that clip out. And...
Oh no, that's fine. It's all true. I did it all. I did it all. The psychopathic stare of the host of that show that you like. It's not. They're seeing the future and the past. They know all. But anyways,
I'm remote viewing you getting a bloody nose in October, so it totally works.
That sounds fair.
It works.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What are people saying here? Are people trying to fight me? They're trying to fight me, Rick Jones. The BBC Hitchhiker's Guide was great too. Okay. Sorry, Rick. Sometimes you have that look in your eye, and I don't know where you're going with things, you know.
Yeah, the BBC was great. I'm just saying that movie is one of the most underrated films of the last 20 years. Same with, like, disagree with me or not, I think Cloud Atlas and Speed Racer are both completely underrated films. People have come around on Speed Racer finally, but Cloud Atlas is an amazing film that gets no fucking credit, you know, for whatever reason. So
is that Ayn Rand? I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
No,
not Atlas Shrugged.
No, that's BioShock you're thinking of. By the way, I should bring it up on the UFO show. It's more of a UFO topic, kind of. But Peter Thiel and them, I read a whole thing on how they tried to build they tried to buy a cruise liner, sort of Star Wars related, given Galactic Cruise Ship. They tried to buy a cruise liner and start a city on there last year during the pandemic, and it went horribly wrong. Like, I gotta send you the article. These fucking billionaires got these ideas on how they're gonna circumvent regulation and taxes and everything else. They're gonna create their own, you know, like Scientology, right? They're gonna create like Ron L. Hubbard learned this shit fucking in the 50s. Just put it out on the sea, and then eventually they can't get you for it. But it did not go well for them.
Well, it's like, I mean,
they blamed the Old Boys Network on this.
The best way to get COVID is to go on a cruise liner.
Yeah, article, because I think that would be a great deep dive for tomorrow night. It's paranormal in that it's so fucking ridiculous, and the premise of BioShock. Fantastic game.
I'll dip my balls in it. I remember that. That was great. Yeah. So okay. So what we had Visions being a 2.5-hour anthology movie when you really get down to it.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
She's like,
no, it's not that. Like I expect I'm gonna enjoy it. Like I expect it's gonna be cool. Is it something to anticipate? That's where I am with it.
I anticipate that.
I hope so.
But here's what it is. Like, here's why I like that you aren't anticipating it and certain fans aren't, but I am, because that means they're not making the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had no anticipation for The Bad Batch. Could care less.
Yeah.
You know, watched it because of the show. Really enjoyed that Camino episode. I think that was the highlight of the whole thing for me. Of course, I didn't watch the first half of the season, so what do I know?
Yeah.
But
fan.
the Visions thing is where I'm like, fucking can't wait, you know? So, like, that means you're expanding the base a bit, you know? Versus if that Visions thing just looked like the Clone Wars cartoon, I wouldn't care.
Oh sure, yeah, no, I'm with you there. I hope, like, once I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this was totally undersold. Like that's what I'm hoping, and I hope it wasn't oversold on the flip side of that, you know. But yeah, so Mandalorian. Oh yeah, this
Star
right here.
Wars oversell. When has that ever happened?
Oversold the Star Wars story. That's gonna be the copy of my book.
Oversold. That would be the tell-all book by the two directors, Lord and Miller, right?
Yeah,
Oversold.
oversold. So somebody was like, talking about the Knights of the Old Republic remake, right?
Hmm.
And they kind of have this little piece of copy, and where it talks about like Star Wars Legends or whatever. And Dan Brooks, Danny B, as we call him, that section refers to the original. So the fact that that Dan Brooks is saying that refers to the original tends to imply that the new one will be canon.
I'm confused a little bit. Somehow I missed something there.
So
So,
in the article, he's referring to he writes Dan Brooks, I believe, writes a lot of the copy that you see on StarWars.com.
okay.
Listed sometimes he's credited, sometimes he's not, but he probably did the first draft usually, I think, or something like that. Anyways, does he's like one of them. He's the editor, and when he a senior editor, maybe even, I think. And when so he's saying when we said that Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic KOTOR is Legends, he on Twitter points out that was referring to the original game. The original game is Legends, which implies the remake is not.
What
If
about
he's,
the sequel?
I don't think they got there
Or,
yet.
all right. I get what you're saying. I'm just like, all right. Okay, so they're saying that I see what you're saying.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so it's definitely a big hint, or it opens up the possibility that that Knights of the Old Republic remake will be canon. So there might just be some lines that are changed or something. I can't remember everything from the game now. Something about the Force that was like implied or said that wasn't canon. Oh, they just cut it out. It's fine now. That kind of stuff. And so like on that one right there, I kind of felt the same way about that as I have about Visions, where I'm like, okay, sounds cool. Someday I'll get a PS5. Someday it'll be
You're just bitter.
2024. Yeah, it'll come out
If you could
someday.
find one, you'd be all excited, but because you can't get one, I get you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I don't have one, and I mean the game's probably like a ways away, I would imagine. I don't know if they've said anything else. I haven't seen if they've thrown anything else out there that it's coming sooner than later, but it sounds like it's still like at least not this Christmas, but a Christmas after, if not the next after that, I would probably imagine. But
I imagine they've been working on it for probably 6 months to a year at this
yeah,
point.
they have been working on
Um,
it there's been producers that have come out and said, finally, I can talk about what I'm working on.
yeah, I'd say probably about a year, just given the fact that they haven't shown any footage. Like, it's not that there isn't footage to show. It's just that this is like one of those marketing campaigns where we're like, we'll make an announcement and just let that simmer. Like, I'm never a fan of that, by the way. I don't
Yeah,
care. There's a theory I told you, like with game producers, where they believe that that's effective and you blow your wad the first time, or I've heard that hate when they use that term, blow your wad. It's like, fuck you.
yeah.
But it's their fucking terminology, man.
I'm
I'm
Daryl.
like,
I
look,
come right back. I could go again. What?
if you can't show gameplay, I don't want to see the fucking game.
Yeah.
Like it's just I don't care. I don't like if it's drag like when they announced Dragon Quest 12 at the Dragon Quest anniversary, which I love watching, it
Mm-hmm.
was just the logo. I'm like, okay, I don't care. Like I don't show at least something. Like even when they first announced Dragon Quest 11 back in 2015 or 16, around there, they showed prelim footage where the character was walking around like the castle and stuff. So you
Right.
could see in some of the valleys, so you could see the Unreal Engine 4. And it didn't have a lot of people, and the lighting wasn't the way it was in the final, but it was like, wow, it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Show me some game, show me the game, because I just a CGI thing, man. Like it's not 1997, it's not Final Fantasy 7. I'm like, wow, CGI cutscenes, I'd be more
Yeah.
impressed if the CGI was was look like 1997 CGI. Like that would be impressive for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andrew Paula says, "Yeah, I'm calling Christmas 2023 for KOTOR," and that would not surprise me if we were looking at late 2023 to 2024.
Yeah, something tells me you'll be able to get a PS5 by the time it comes out.
Yeah, no, I believe that that is true. I mean, I think I saw Bespin Bulletin saying that like 10 they've already sold like 10 million of them or something.
Yeah, but 9 million of them are on eBay for 30% markup. Like, look, I got one, but I got one the hard going through Best Buy. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
I believe if I was in charge of the government, there's a lot of shit I would do. But one of them I would do, not at the top, but one of them I would do is we got to stop this fucking thing online where bots can buy everything and resell. It's no different than price gouging during a pandemic. You
Yeah.
can't take every fucking thing there is and then mark it up 50 fucking percent on eBay. Like I get some people we know make a living
Mhm.
reselling. I get it. But when you can't get the actual thing because your bots are fucking slamming a site and preventing everyone else from getting in, I mean, that's Ticketmaster. But they've allowed this to go on for so long, right? Remember, like, no one could ever get, everyone's like, oh, but concert tickets are only like 25 bucks, but the fucking bots would buy them all on Ticketmaster before you could and resell them for 300. So it don't
Yeah.
help nobody, man. It don't
Well,
help the
and
band. It don't
during a
help you.
pandemic, I mean, it's like I mean, it's obviously this isn't quantifiable, but how many people would have been safer or not got sick or not died had people been staying home playing PlayStation instead of being like, I'm bored, I'm going to go out and meet this Tinder date instead and that kind of jazz, you know? I mean, Dragon Quest, it makes you not get laid. It's the truth. You stay home. You don't
It's
talk to
100
anybody.
hours long. It's awesome.
You don't
Did you beat
shower.
it? Did you finish it?
I did the prologues too, or the
Yeah,
epilogues.
it's yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All that stuff. It's great.
Yeah, I think what they got married at the end or something. I can't remember now. But yeah, it was a good
Well,
time.
it's cyclical, the whole story, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was a pretty good time. That was the first game I ever played with my, or first RPG I played with my son, and then I forgot about that. All the boob stuff though. I was like, oh no, there's a lot of boob stuff in this.
Puff
I forgot.
puff.
Puff puff. Yeah. And he's like, and
Well,
like I like, and of course as it goes, like I leave the room. He's like, hey, what's puff puff? I was like, wait, what was that? Oh no, oh that's just some Japanese jokes, man. I don't know. Hmm.
just tell them it's like powder puff. It's that stuff that goes on your face. Okay. Remember that back in the day? Uh, powder puff girls? Like, no, it was a thing. Uh, I'll say this about KOTOR. Again, because the Spyro, when we worked on the Spyro remake, we did it in 12 months because you already know the story, the content, you have the owl, everything's there.
Yeah,
You know what you need to make. It's way different than conjuring up a game loop in a system and developing levels and having to play through. Like Crash took way longer than Spyro.
hmm
Crash 4 took way longer than Spyro because it's ground up. You have to test everything. Does this work? You know, you need extra content if you don't feel like you have it. You don't, the balance takes forever in Q&A and stuff like that. But with remakes, you already know, if something's out of balance, they flag that way ahead of time. So this can get done way faster. Really, the bulk of the work is just graphical, graphical and audio design. I imagine if they're going to do more, how much was I don't think the entire game was voice acted back in the day. I can't remember.
I don't, I
Um,
don't, I don't believe so. I mean, that was 2002. That sounds a
so if
little
they did
early,
that, that would,
maybe.
add work, but it's layered work. It's not. So again, the only thing my question about this is I've never seen Asper build anything from the ground up beyond porting. Everything they've
Yeah,
done so far has been a porting, but they seem to have a pretty good pipeline for vendors. Like Asper didn't personally port those games. They had vendors. And I imagine I would like to know too, did they ever hook up with people who originally coded on a 64 for that stuff or like any
I
of the
don't, I
original
don't follow
systems?
Lucasfilm on Tinder, so I'm not sure.
All right. But I'm not asking you, it's a hypothetical wise ass, but like I like when I ask you, like when I go, well, and when I answer your fucking questions and you go, I'm not asking you, Rob, it's fucking I'm talking to the Star Wars fans. Like I fucking all right. All right, flex master
Not
bitch,
not talking not talking to the fake fan over here. Talking to the real fan. My buddy Andrew Paul, who wants to know, I will always wonder, will there ever be an adult Star Wars films or Star Wars similar to how Deadpool took a risk with an R rating? Star Wars. Look up Star Wars. That is, Star Wars
I
adult
like to
film.
think, by the way, this aesthetic is what Dexter Jetster moved to when shit got real dark on Coruscant. Like he's
Oh,
like
if you
the
go
darker
there,
it gets, the more neon it got in the diner.
if you go there by the time of Return of the Jedi, it's the 80s there. It's just
Yeah.
completely it's completely like, hey kids, how's it going?
It's
And hey, guess what?
it's the
Problems?
it's the last two seasons of Facts of Life when Loris Leachman came up. Cloris Leachman, Loris. I can't remember. You know what I mean with names, man. When
Okay.
she came on and they had like a store and it was all neon and shit, like, yeah.
You know how the guy on at the Max is always like doing magic tricks? Dexter has like four hands. He could be like pulling all kinds of stuff everywhere.
He's inappropriately groping customers now. You know, he went down that, all the 80s heroes went down that path of dark, dark
Yeah.
secrets.
So I'm with James here, but I also have something to say about it. So James says, I'm surprised they would let a video game define this era. Seems like this would be a great era for movies and TV. And but the thing about it is it already did define it. That is the whole thing. Um, yeah, it did. And my biggest um I don't know if gripe is the right word, apprehension probably, is I don't really like how it looks. I think it is maybe the most ugly Star Wars thing I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people will disagree, and that's cool. Um
Nostalgia has blinded them.
but it just, yeah, I just think a lot of it looks kind of tacky, and I like when it riffs on the original Star Wars, like the Star Wars, and it's sort of like you sort of see some of the, and I hate to say it, but the Ralph McQuarrie kind of stuff, but like the original, like kind of like suits, but like when they were kind of moving in that direction.
The
Um,
Flash Gordon-y kind of
yeah,
stuff, or
I
Logan's
I
Runish.
I do think
Yeah.
that stuff is kind of neat, and I like where the Old Republic game went. A lot of that design I think did get a lot better,
You
and
know,
that stuff I prefer.
thinking about it now, like if all of the Republic stuff looked very Macquarie, Flash Gordon-y, but the Sith looked like the old trilogy, that
Hmm.
would have been a nice clash of design styles.
Yeah,
You know, that way you see that the look that we define as Star Wars is the one that was brutally imposed. It's like brutalism. It's imposed by authoritarianism
yeah,
government. You know? Like there is something there to that. I also think that those games just didn't. One, it's a limitation of technology. The Xbox, you know, could only do so much in terms of, you know, so-called realism or graphics. But I don't think they had a strong art director like a Doug Chiang exclusively designing the look of something. You know, like they just went, hey, let's do prequels by way of the OT. That's it.
right,
You know,
right. And there, I don't have we heard conclusively what era that open world Star Wars game is going to take place in. I don't.
no,
There hasn't been really heard anything on that, have we?
no. And
And
I imagine it'll probably just look, I mean, if there was, well, will it look OT or will it be ST?
yeah,
ST.
yeah. I mean,
I'd bet ST.
if you go sequel trilogy, you get to go include everything from before, and that's a huge. You know what I mean? You could put oh, here's a bunch of Clone Wars stuff that was left on this island, and all that kind of stuff. It opens up a lot of that kind of jazz. But if they did do that, like for instance, where I'm going with this is Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. Uh, each of the last iterations of those games clearly define almost a whole universe of films if they wanted to. There could be 15 Red Dead Redemption movies based off of that one game. So that is an opportunity, for instance, for something to define an era if they really put the work into it and really
Right.
do a good job.
But that is a limitation of Ubisoft, as much as they're I'm hit or miss on their products. I think
Hmm.
they'd make more good than bad these days. But none of their writing, even on any of the Assassin's Creed games, none of it has been at the level of a Rockstar game. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. Whoa, it hasn't, folks. It just
Yeah.
hasn't. And I know this because I have beaten Grand Theft Auto 5 3 times.
Yeah.
And I think you got to understand, like, I can count on like maybe two hands the amount of games I've ever beaten since the 80s.
Hmm.
I just love the writing and the story and Grand Theft Auto 5 so much, and Red Dead Redemption as well. One and two, they're masterpieces in writing and game design. And I sad that they were made under brutalistic circumstances. But yeah, their writing is at another level, and I don't think Ubisoft plays it more generic is kind of I guess the word,
Hmm.
like run of the mill. It's not bad, but it's like, all right. It's at least it's not annoying like when I play a Need for Speed game and they feel the need to fucking throw a story in a racing game.
Yeah.
Like you're running the road and the cops are trying to get you. I don't give a shit, man. I just fucking want to drive.
You're
So
Christian Slater. Your brother's Asian. They killed him. You got to avenge him now. Naming the cue. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be great if they did get Christian Slater for a Need for Speed game? Damn it.
That would
Damn
be
you,
good.
Jason Wards.
I think they should put Christian Slater in a Star Wars film. And Emilio Estevez. Fuck yeah. Let's get the dudes from the 80s and Kiefer Sutherland. Let's fucking get the young guns and more. Wait, was Christian Slater was he in Young Guns too?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking get
He's
the
in
young
one and
guns back
two.
together.
He was the teacher, remember? They were hanging him.
Yeah.
He became like a professor, and they found out that he was one of the cowboys or the young guns, and they were gonna kill him in the beginning, right?
CGI River Phoenix. Let's not. Why stop
No.
anywhere? No.
No, well, we just deep fake now, and like Joaquin can play him, right? Oh
Right.
shit. Oh, why do I say that? And then it happens, and I blame myself for this nonsense.
We live in a simulation, so if you put something in the code, it will accidentally come out the other side.
I'll
But
be interested to see what the writing is like on the Avatar game that Ubisoft is making.
right.
Yeah.
And but it kind of in a way, like, I don't mean it like it's a slight, but the writing on Avatar is like very bare bones. It's like for everyone, it's a simple story. The dialogue is like anybody could basically understand it. It's not deep or complex, and that might conceal it there too. Star Wars can be as basic as Avatar as well, though. So not trying to act like Star Wars is much more sophisticated, but it can
It
be.
has characters named Sleazebag Dano. Let's not go there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, look, I have a theory about that, and there's a axiom in writing that says that if you have a complex world, keep your story simple. If
Hmm.
you have a complex story, keep your world simple. If you do complex world and complex story, you better be a fucking genius.
Yeah.
And like this is why The Hobbit is a complex world with a simple story.
Hmm.
But with the Lord of the Rings sequel, with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or just the book Lord of the Rings, they had to split it up into three parts. It was a complex story, complex world. That's why it took them fucking 30 years to write. Like
Where would you put Blade Runner on that?
Blade Runner, complex story, complex world.
Me too.
And that's why it's so polarizing to
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
so what Cameron did was, let me describe to you something, right? Forget what you know of the movie, but if I say, look, I got this science
Wait.
fiction
Hi,
film,
hi, Eldwin. Forget all you know or think you know. Which
right?
finger has the power to control the universe? Go on.
This one. So, and Carrie Fisher agrees. You should put that quote with her giving the fucking bird, right?
The Fisher. Oh yeah. Update real quick before you go on. I am currently winning the Hamill tweeting out the Fisher dispute from a couple days ago. I'm
Fantastic.
about 100, 200 ahead right now.
Fantastic.
Very hated, very loved. That's me. Go on.
But if I say I got a science fiction film in which humans go to another planet and they transfer their minds into organically, biologically created
Kittens.
beings, you know what I mean, that are going to cooperate and fight, alongside this alien race against corporations who are strip mining their fucking planet, and I had to explain how all this shit worked. in a movie, you could see a situation where someone is sitting there trying to explain all this in technobabble of some sort, and people being like, fuck this.
Yeah.
So I get why he airs. Look, Cameron can write complex. I mean, Abyss was not a movie that went down well with the public. That's not
Yeah.
an easy, that's a complex situation and a complex story wrapped around a, a divorce. You know what I mean? And people who are divorced getting back together.
Hmm.
And how are you supposed, again, she's not, that character too is not someone you inherently like too much in the front of the film. You know, like you have to
Made it
come
Marion.
around. Yeah. Maid Marian, right?
Hmm.
That movie doesn't hold up. I thought it did. I remember that Robin Hood better than it was, by the way.
I mean,
Like,
I think it's very progressive. Did God paint you black? Did God
yeah,
paint you?
when that came out on DVD, I'm like, you know what? It has Rickman, has Morgan Freeman, has Mary Elizabeth. I remember this being well, and you know, then I watched. I'm like Christian Slater. I'm like, this is fucking horrible, and so cheap looking in spots. Like when Snape goes down to his fucking labyrinth, and it just looks like it's like black lights. You know what I mean? And like dry eyes. It's fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous. Anyways,
Men in Tights holds up though. Hilarious still.
but I guarantee you, Cameron took those fucking comments about the story being too simple to fucking heart, which is why he hired 4 different people to sit in a writer's room and spend 4 or 5 years writing the stories out.
Yeah.
You know, and I have listened to him talk about that process where he said, look, I went back to what we did on TV with Dark Angel. You know, I got 3 or 4 different screenwriters in a room. Nobody was assigned a movie. I didn't want anyone trying to pick or come up with sequences or things that were going to benefit them and screw everyone else. They
Hmm.
figured out the story they wanted to tell, and then after they worked that out, he assigned the scripts to each person who was the best for that type of story. You know, and I'm just as interested and a little worried or skeptical when I see like, oh, they're gonna have Navi kids. How are the kids acting gonna be? But kid acting can be great or cringy. Like I think the kid acting in Super 8 is great.
I hope
You know,
I hope they're all blue cats with bowl cuts.
I hear look, I would love that.
And
For all sorts of reasons.
I hope he makes one look like the redheaded kid Sam from Terminator 2.
I want one just to be red, to be the odd one out, you know?
Red
And they call
cat.
him Red. Yeah, you know? Because he's Irish. No. So
That's Black Cat. He's got a chip on his shoulder.
but the
Don't
internet
fuck
loves
with
to
him.
be like this echo chamber where it's like, no, that fucking thing sucks. No one cares for it. Just like when, look, we can just want to see something that just happened this week. The internet was like, no one cares about Shang-Chi. No one gives a shit about Shang. Well, just fucking everyone went out and saw the motherfucker. Oh, it looks way
Mhm.
better than I thought it would be. Look, I didn't go see it because it's a pandemic. But
Yeah.
if there wasn't a pandemic, that movie would have made twice as much. That would have been a $300 million opening fucking weekend for that film. I guarantee you. So, like, I don't want to hear that the internet is the litmus test for what people are interested in. Most of the people who love things aren't on the internet fucking making videos about it. It's us psychos that do this. Like my friends are like, you do this for 2 hours every day. I'm like, I do this for 4 fucking hours every day.
Yeah.
Jason knows he has to cut this fucking show off sometimes, you know?
I'm like, enough.
Yeah, you too much for you. Go draw.
Enough, man. Yeah.
But there are people, and not just my age. My buddy's kids grew up with Avatar. Like they've been watching it at home. They vaguely remember seeing it in theaters when they were 4 or 5. Like we saw Return of the Jedi. And
Yeah.
they're going to be 12, 13, 14 when it comes. They want to see it. By the way, they're heavily into science and biology and everything else. So if you feel like this isn't your generation shit, well, welcome to growing up. My dad didn't much fucking like, The Matrix. He thought the
Yeah.
shit was corny. I know, how could you? Thought the shit was corny.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't his shit. His shit was like Die Hard and fucking Commando. The Matrix was like, oh, the Bill and Ted guy again. Like
I'm with you, Rob's dad. I'm kind of with you.
although I tried to explain to my dad, Die Hard was the anti-Commando movie. Do you understand? Like
Yeah.
every guy was what? God damn it! Like, he missed the point.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, will the writing on the Avatar game lead to Star Wars, or will we be able to tell? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Because that's going to be a lot of the same crew working on Avatar, the Avatar game is going to be the people who are working on the Star Wars game. That's the whole reason why I bring it up. Because
Yeah.
if you want to get an indicator of what that game will look and feel like, you pay attention to that game or purchase it. You
And
know,
I think we will end up with games spawning movies. I mean, eventually, like, had Knights of the Old Republic been created today and come out at this time as a new game and connected the way it did in 2002, there would be a movie coming. It would have been like, oh, now is the time, we need to strike while the iron's hot on this, you know. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't think there's anything coming, but what's his name? Cal Kestis, for instance, in Fallen Order. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we get a 6-part movie with him on Disney Plus, if you will, or a series or something like that. Like I think all of this kind of stuff is completely possible, especially when we have actors being cast in the leads in games. Then you have more of a possibility of continuing on authentically, and that's what I'm curious about this KOTOR remake. Is, are they going to bring in like actual? Are they casting it?
but it's also why the games need to be games,
Mm-hmm.
so they have a good development and they can be the best game it can be. And then if it works, then bring it into canon.
And
Bring it
and
into canon by doing a live action version, keeping the best and trimming the fat. You
and,
know,
and we're like lucky on KOTOR though, because it's already a thing. It already exists. So whatever they're putting into it now could technically be an investment in moving forward with a Disney Plus show. You know what I mean? It seems completely like it would be, if anything, financing it to some extent if this game connects the way it sounds like it will. It sounds like it's going to be a really big deal.
I'm sure Asper doesn't want to hear that. How much money we gotta lose by giving it to the Lucas games? You know, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they just pay like an upfront licensing fee, and then there's like a deal, right, on how much they get after that, like out of the profit or something. Oh well,
Look, in
yeah,
t-shirts, you have a guarantee no
yeah,
matter what. So the licensor gets a guarantee regardless of what you fucking do. You know? And
yeah,
they want their money no matter what the sales are.
right.
I don't know what in games if that includes after sales or if that includes DLC. Does that count as separate? Like what? I also fear, bro, when they just say remake, that
Hmm.
I'm like, what's the DLC? Like, where's the trick? I'm looking for the trick, right? I don't think after the Bob Iger EA thing that they would be stupid enough to fucking try that. But before that, if they had announced this game, I'm like, watch them fucking sell every skin and every extra fucking level and side quest as a DLC package. You know, like, so I like DLC, but I don't like making people spend $300 for the game they used to get $60 for. I
Yeah,
don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's good to build long-term fans of anything. It just turns you might get an initial. It's that Disney Eisner model of let's make endless shitty sequels to the fucking films that go direct to DVD. Like you get an initial boost and then people fucking hate you and your brand shortly thereafter, you know.
yeah. If I get like a really good game, and then you want to, like, the original Red Dead. I believe I bought that game and loved it and played it online for a very long time. Then they sold like a zombie pack, and like around Halloween that year, and it was great. I was like, "Oh, you're giving me more. I'm paying for it, but I'm getting more of this thing that I love. That's cool." Yeah, when you feel like you've spent $60 to get into the club, and then now there's dues, then you're like, "Fuck you, I'm out. Like, this sucks." But
Yeah.
this game,
I
this
think
game being a remake, I don't think they can pull that. On one hand, they're I mean,
you are an
yeah,
optimistic man.
no, I mean, they are, yeah. If they do anything like that, they all deserve to be fired and to never be seen in the industry again, because they are in a place where everything about the love of that is based in goodwill, and if they squander it, they are fucking up bad. But so far we don't have anything like that. There's no vibe of that. There's no hint of that. So I don't want to, like, I don't want
I'm
to
just shocked that
crap
they didn't
them.
put out any real anything. I don't. I'm just shocked that for the amount of eyeballs they have watching this thing, and the fact that it's their first announcement of it, and it's just a CGI helmet reveal. Either that is, you know, again, poor marketing, in my opinion, or they don't have anything to show. And I know they have stuff to show. I'm 99% certain of it. So I'm just shocked that they didn't at least give people like it could have been like just camera floating of the environment
PlayStation
passes.
probably gave them a large, pretty penny for the exclusive rights, the timed exclusive rights. And
Yeah.
when they did that, uh, during the negotiations, they probably said that they wanted to announce that, what's it called? Gamescon or whatever the hell it is. I don't
Well,
know. Is
Gamescom is
whatever
Germany.
or
Sony
whatever
does the TGS, the Tokyo Game Show.
whatever the thing yesterday was.
So that's the Sony Play event. That's their
Okay.
version of Nintendo Direct. Yeah.
So they probably wanted it for then, and the development cycle isn't lining up with Sony's
I I
announcement
get
thing.
all
And
of that. I
yeah,
just don't
I'm
agree
I'm
with
I'm
it.
telling. Yeah, I
No,
mean,
you're talking to me directly. Fuck you. See,
but
I got you, Wards.
you got me. You got me. Um,
And then he
but
kicks me off the stream.
no. Oh, I do have a volume control though now, so I can turn you up and turn you down. All right. Anyways,
But I have this faith. I can.
oh shit. Yeah, I do think that it also could have been that they were bringing on more people and the cat was about to get out of the bag anyways, whether they're ready to show or not. So they might want to own it more than
I think that right there, my friend, like is a combination of the two things. One,
yeah,
Sony wanted to show something. They probably weren't that comfortable, but they have to. And
right.
two, you're right. If they're ramping up production and every fucking YouTube, or sorry, every Twitter drip is they're hiring for this. Here's the LinkedIn. Here they're hiring for that. Like they
Yeah.
wanted to at least get in front of that info.
Yeah, because you're gonna start to see that stuff showing up everywhere pretty soon.
Yeah. I
Um,
would just be more
no,
excited if there was gameplay
no,
footage, but I might be in the minority. So.
no. I'm with you. I also think though that they're gonna get it's a freebie because when they put gameplay footage out, it'll be just as exciting as it was yesterday. A lot of other things do it the other way, and nobody gives a shit by the time the gameplay footage comes out. I think this one will probably be a positive.
Well,
I just hope that
that's what I've heard from producers where they're like, "Look, if you got the name, you can drag it out," and I'm like, "I get it, dude, but whatever. Like, I get it. I get what they're
I'm with
saying. You
you.
can, but Nintendo, props to Nintendo when they show off a game, they show off in-game footage.
Mhm.
Even if it's a cutscene like Breath of the Wild 2, they do it with in-game.
Yeah.
So.
Craig Sheldon says, "Sorry if this has been addressed already. It has. Why are you asking these stupid questions, Sheldon?" um,
Smack.
take it off. Just take it off. Now,
I wish I could smack the comments off. Wouldn't that be a great like AR trick? Like,
I love how the YouTube platform is just a place full of assholes, just through and through. And Sheldon's the one guy. Craig Sheldon's the one guy who's like, "Sorry if this has been addressed already."
so polite.
Then I make fun of him for it, for
Or
actually being a model citizen.
or if I couldn't smack him off, if I could smack it and it would like shake. Screw. That would be a fun little AR trick. All right, go ahead.
Do
Go
you
ahead,
think
Craig.
there will be any Mando video games or games based on the TV shows? Are we better off without that type of game direct adaptation? Yeah, that is philosophically, I think that's a pretty big question for gaming and film, because I mean classically you end up being up against time in the sense that the game needs to come out near the episodes, so if anybody's going to care. Like, remember when the Clone Wars Lego game came out like 4 years after the seasons had aired, and everybody's just like, what are
Or
you,
the
what?
current Lego game.
Yeah, at least that one is everything. It's a holistic, like all-encompassing thing.
Right.
And then most of the episodes, though, I think you end up with two problems where the episodes may not lend themselves to making good games. Hanging out with a pig guy on a backwater planet trying to tame a blurg might be fun. It might not be.
You would
And
never want a straight adaptation unless it were some kind of point and click Back to the Future Telltale kind of thing, and that wouldn't go very well.
they
Yeah.
came close to a Clone Wars one on that before they closed up shop. They had a whole like uh I wouldn't say a playable build. I don't think that's the correct way to put it, but it was like a prototype that it was a fake version of it, I believe. And it would like you could watch like a good, 10 minutes and they like told I think an unproduced Clone Wars script in it. And I really wanted to see that because I wanted to see what was in that script really bad. But
Yeah, there's a multiverse where Underworld went to a point and click adventure series directed by LucasArts, right?
that'd be great. But yeah, so a part of me goes like, wow, it would be really fun to play a Mando game. Like there was that video that went around that people thought was real the other day, and me and Rob looked at it and we were like, nah, this is on real tech demo or something kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's
The telltale sign on that was the design of Grogu.
mhm.
It was stylized with the realistic Unreal Engine 4. And I'm like, that will never get past licensing. If it's
Yeah.
going to be realistic, Grogu would look realistic. They're not going to do a stylized, cartoony Grogu and a realistic environment. Like that's I can just tell you that they'll never fly. So
Yeah. Yeah, if I don't know if that was like if that was just somebody's fun project and then it got shared around as being real or what the story with it is, but anyways, yeah, so I kind of tend to err on the side of it would be cool if there was an original game with Mando. Um if it told the story like the gang that Mando has that he breaks up with, if that was a game and we had a heist and doing criminal stuff and the
or it
Star
was all
Wars
the adventures
underworld.
he had before the first fucking episode.
That's what I'm saying.
The
Him and the
prequel.
old gang and
Yeah.
like how they break up and whatever, like
Yeah.
something like that. Then you're
His
like you're
Talon
into
card looking dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
You end up like where you're just like okay, there's stuff to expand on, but if you go and you retell shows we already had, that's where I go. We'd rather just have another Fallen Order or something like that, something original for the most part. Um, yeah, but it is I hope I should say that Lucasfilm squandered, or Lucasfilm and the licensees collectively, the market, whatever you want to call it, squandered the last generation of Star Wars and the opportunities there, and left a lot of bad taste in people's mouth. And a lot of it was there was some actual gold that came out of it eventually. Battlefront 2 ends up being fantastic, and so does Fallen Order. But that was kind of like that's like late stage, and
10 years, two or three games, you
and
know.
that's when they really but they started getting it together, and now I'm hoping that we're to a phase where shit really does start to come together. Like I love Fortnite. Like I play Fortnite every day, and I hope that Star Wars Fortnite clone or whatever you want to call it, I hope that ends up being really really rad. I hope it ends up like being everything I ever wanted. I mean, that'd be great, but I am cautiously optimistic on that one. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. You haven't convinced me. But I mean, they haven't really shown anything, and there was just kind of a leak of some general shit. So kind of early to be too judgmental on it as well. But I do miss on one hand though, like when Revenge of the Sith came out and that game came out like with it, and you could play through through the whole movie, and there was like the fighting game aspect where you could do Anakin versus Vader, Anakin versus Mace, and like a fighting
The
game
one
that
on the
like
Xbox.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that was like I do enjoy that tie-in kind of stuff. And even when the game's not great, it's like part of the experience of that season of the movie coming out. And I do miss that. And I did appreciate that. And Battlefront did a good job when they put the Rogue One content. It was fantastic. Like that was like where you saw like tie-in that went really, really, really well. Like the
Not
Scarif
everything
map.
has to be a AAA experience, man. Like I
Yeah.
feel like there's a world where they could have hired someone like Way Forward or was it Demu? The guy's doing the new Turtles game, the 2D
Hmm.
pixel Turtles, where they could have done a pixel beat 'em up Revenge of the Sith game to tie, with the launch, like a four player Mando pixel game, where you could be part of the crew and then, like it
I
plays
would
like those old Capcom brawlers, but
I would
online.
prefer it. I would be happier
Yeah.
with that in the end.
Yeah.
But I'm
20,
but
15, $20 purchase. You get a
mhm.
day of launch and it's super fucking fun and retro and not this giant AAA cinematic experience.
Yeah, I mean, and there's like a legacy just of games and stuff that I would love to see them capitalize on. I think it would be cool if they re-released the Atari Vector Star Wars game and
They
also
did. I
added
have it.
and also yeah,
It's,
yeah, but
it's,
you have to
it's
have
here
a
in the
cabinet.
shop.
Yeah, I mean like but I mean it would be rad if they put it out and did them for the other films that they could make levels for and stuff like that. Like
Right.
I would appreciate something like that.
Also, it would be great if they did that with just retelling some of the stories of these series that I don't want to sit through 100 hours of. Like getting Rebels as a pixel kind of like side-scrolling Super Star Wars style game, or
Yeah.
getting the Clone Wars as, broken down into like, a brawler type game or something, or beat 'em up. I don't know. Like there's ways to do it that aren't, again, the classic licensing, make it this $100 million, investment.
By the way, I liked when you turned around to the Max and said you have it back here. Behind that background. Andrew Paul said, "Did Ferngully have sequels?" Yes, it was called Avatar. Avatar Part 1. And he says Avatar 2, The Magical Rescue. And Star Wars Santa says, "So you're saying that you're the Ryan Johnson of Twitter, very loved, very hated?" That's one way of looking at it, I guess. I really hope we get his movies though. I'll tell you that much.
I want his
And
hair, fucker. He's got such luscious hair.
Andrew Paul says, "I can't wait till Cameron rips off Veggie Tales." Navi, Lord of the Flies.
Bring it. Bring me your
Uh,
hate. Bring it to me. I crave this. I'm the Vortalum.
I think they're just riffing on it.
It's fine.
So okay,
Give it to me. Give it to
why
me.
why is it telling me to double click to update on there? Anyways, KOTOR will be Legends, but elements of it could become canon like everything else in the old EU.
You think because Revan looks so much like Kylo Ren, they might tie it into the Knights of Ren? Like if they did some trickery with the story, you know what I mean? Like did a little
Well, I
rewriting.
mean, I think don't we see Revan's statue in Rise of Skywalker
Bro, I
on
can't remember
Exegol?
what's in that fucking
Yeah,
Exegol, man. I remember the Snoke. I was stuck on the Snoke babies in the tubes. Like, bro,
Baby Snooks.
and when he's crawling on that chain, I'm like, I did this in World of Warcraft. Remember when we're like in the first, like one of the
Yeah,
first areas, you climb on a giant chain? I'll never forget it because I was like, I love climbing on giant chains. And now I'm watching Kylo Ren do it. I'm like, what am I fucking watching? All right, he's infiltrating Stormwind or whatever, fucking the dwarven. I don't
yeah.
fucking know, man.
And Andrew says
So
so.
weird.
Andrew says that they did show Revan, so we got an idea of what level of detail to expect. And it is true.
I don't know. I guess. I guess. Look, I told you, you know, it would be great to get a game like Demon Souls on PS5. Now you haven't played it, like videos don't do any of this shit justice. I don't. I get. That's the thing too. Have you noticed that, man? Like I like when certain people play through a game. I follow a guy called Mage Master who plays through a lot of the Dragon Quest stuff.
Hmm.
And he's great. He's British. He's got the right temperament and personality. He's not trying to put on the YouTube voice. It's kind of like when you would play a video game with a friend and your friend's doing all the playing while you're busy drawing. This is what I used to do. Right?
Hmm.
I used to draw and let my buddy play it. But when you play the games, there is a way different experience playing them versus watching them. And so Demon Souls has an atmosphere or vibe I just don't think comes across in any of the trailers. It's so hard to describe when you're playing it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. I beat those games. I like them. I think I like leveling up. I enjoy it. I do.
That should be the clip.
Yeah,
I like leveling up. I enjoy it on the
I
back of
enjoy
it.
it. No, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I like actually like progressing and consequence in my games. Like I loved MMOs. I really like EverQuest was, probably doesn't hold wouldn't hold up if you played it today, but I loved it. I mean, I karate chopped a desk in half playing the game because of a bug. I played 8 hours trying to get this fucking Ghoulbane sword for my paladin, and it just I had to type something like "Give me the Ghoulbane, fuckhead," and I typed it, and it just said it took it, and it was like nothing else. It was just like bye. I was like, ka-cha! Took that desk right down. I was so pissed.
The only MMO I've ever gotten into was City of Heroes.
Oh shit.
City of Heroes, I played the shit out of so much. I hit like the max level was like 55 or 60 at the time. And I would fly. I preferred to run. I was a speedster, right? But I built a flying character solely to take people to areas, right? And then leave them there.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I have a story about that game, and if Star Wars Santa's here, he might like it. I don't know. Maybe he won't. But I had somebody in my band who was very much not a good player, not as good of a friend to any of us as everyone else was, and the person would just try to undercut everyone behind everyone's back. That kind of little toxic lizard. And anyways, that band breaks up, and a lot had to do with him being in it. And then eventually, though, we hadn't talked in like a year or so, and everyone's like, "Hey, let's hang out or whatever." And then they're like some people in the band were like, you got to play this game with me. It's called City of Heroes, and this toxic little lizard, he was so into the game, he was being featured in the comic book. Like he was like if you like created a character and like they loved it enough, and so he goes and he gets featured in the comic book, and then I show up, and yeah, he's kind of like a little bit of an Eric Cartman in a way,
Right.
kind of had that kind of personality, and so I make my character, and I'm like I'm like, okay, this game looks okay. I'm like, I don't know, I can't take this too seriously. So I made like a dude with like first he was like an army man with like an army hat on and stuff, and then I accidentally changed it to red, and I was like, oh, I trimmed it all out in white, and I'm like, I'm Captain Christmas.
I like it.
Yeah. So and my girlfriend at the time, she made like a little green elf girl, and we were like, all right, here we go. So
Yeah, I
we
like
show
that.
up. Yeah, we show up, and I show up, and I just did my jokes for about 5 minutes, and he goes, "Is this Jason fucking Ward?" Signs off. Signs off. Never played again. Was in the comic book though.
Well, here's the problem with that game was it did really well, and then the company was horribly mismanaged and
Mhm.
they crashed.
Well,
So
they
they
put
sell,
my old bass player in the comic book. That was their first mistake.
and then what they did was they sold the game to a third party Chinese developer.
Oh, they're always the
They
best.
went, and this is what they did. They went and made it free to play and made me or anyone that had a previous character, we had to buy back all our shit because they would limit your account. They had to buy back and they limited the graphics. When it went to free to play, graphically it looked whatever it looked like before, it was 30% of what it looked like. It looked like dog shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked really fucking bad. And they were like,
Wait,
yeah, if
wait,
you
wait,
spend
wait,
another
wait, wait.
$75.
EA is watching this. They're like writing this down. They're like, what? Okay.
Well, funny
Really?
thing about
No.
EA, I'll tell you about EA. This ties into that actually. So they wanted $75 for me to buy back to unlock all my shit again. I'm like, fuck you, motherfuckers. So I started playing this game called Maple Story, which was this 2D side-scrolling, chibi-looking game from South Korea, but it was hand drawn, and I'm like, oh, this looks great. It was free to play, but at least it was a side scroller. And MapleStory started taking off, and EA comes out and says, we will never do free to play. We will never do free to play. There's no business for this. Never gonna happen. And then I'm like, within 10 years, their main business model will be free to play.
Yeah.
Anytime someone fucking tells me they'll never do some shit, that's the very fucking next thing. You know, it just means that they don't.
Captain Christmas says you can't gift free to play. You know?
But yeah, City of Heroes, man, that's the last MMO. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this where I spend how much money on some virtual fucking game that I have no access to, and then they turn it off one day and never get the shit back. So, like, as much as Fortnite is cool, because I can't play the fucking game offline by myself, you know, in some form, I'm not fucking doing it. You
you might be able to play that other version, that like story mode that they have. I'm not sure though.
I just don't care. I gotta be able to play the game 10 years later when I want to. I know some people don't. I don't come back to a lot of games, but these days when I play a game, I want to be able to fucking go back to it. You know, I'm sorry, I just don't like the idea of them saying, "Oh, you can never get your shit back." And it is unfair for me to say that, in that, do you really have all your saves from your PlayStation 1 or your Nintendo 64? Like, do you have access to all that? No.
Yeah.
You know, do those ROMs stop working after a while? Yeah. Even the CDs. I get it. But man, it just, the idea that they just shut my shit down. And by the way, in its heyday, it wasn't like it ran 10 years and the game went away. It was like 2 years in, shut it down, and now you have to spend another fucking $75, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think by that time, maybe I was on the WoW. I'm not sure.
Everyone was, yeah.
But that was that was a game where, and Fortnite's like that to some extent. You just kind of show up and here's experience, and you could be awful at something, and you will just progress if you just time.
It's those mobile games where they just keep exploding stuff at you to make you feel like you're doing shit. I hate that.
Yeah, trying to get that.
I can't. I call it the jackpot. They're trying to make you look like, you know, when you go to a casino and everyone's winning. No one's winning anything. You know, like it's fucking
little dopamine hits of I did it. I don't
get it. I have the exact opposite effect. I walk into a casino, I get angry.
Yeah.
My wife's like, I just want to play blackjack and have fun. I'm like, these fuckers are losing their money. Like, this is just the sound of sucking the wealth out of the elderly. I can't stand it. Give me free drinks.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just can't. I don't know, man. I have the opposite effect.
No, I'm the one weirdo who went to Vegas, wasn't 21 yet, put in a couple of bucks into a slot machine, and out came 400. I quickly put all of the tokens into a bucket and ran, and then had my 21-year-old friend go and cash them in for me later. And after that, I was convinced I would never win again.
Happened to me once. And I didn't mean to gamble.
Really?
We went to a radio. My uncle, I told you, he made a living off these radio contests. This is 2002 or 3 or 4, somewhere around there. I'm vague.
Your uncle that sounds fucking cool as shit.
He was, and then he turned into a Trumper, and he's crazy now. So he started yelling the N-word, and I had to stop talking to him. Yeah, I know, but I don't know what happened. Right? I don't know what happened. But he was an amazing fucking dude to hang out with.
Yeah.
So there was this rock and roll, like, 50s Jeopardy thing that they were doing with these radio stations. It was right when the VA house, Sycuan Casino was first opening up, the Sycuan Casino, and it was just like in a tent. So they were holding it there. And so he's like, come down here. And I'm like, I fucking hate the 50s. I don't want to go down there. He's like, just come down here. They're going to give away stuff. And I'm like,
come on. You could smack your wife in the mouth if she says
they're going to have milkshakes and burgers, free food. Now I'm a kid in college. I'm like, fine, I'll go get fed. Well, what they did was they gave us free casino credit to play. It was like $100, you know, casino credit. I'm like, all right. So we went in there and they had a South Park jackpot slot machine. I'm like, South Park is funny to bring up Carmen. I'm like, all right. So I put in I figure it's 100. I put in $20. I don't care. I want to get out of here.
It looks like your Wi-Fi name on
Thank you.
has changed.
This is great.
To update your
Alexa, stop.
Go to the Alexa app.
What is going on?
It's the 50s, Alexa.
I didn't even say it. What was that all about? Anyway,
she listens. She's always listening.
I put the $20 in and won $800.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like in one shot. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Took it, I cashed that, and the remaining part of my shit out, walked out $900. You know, like I was like, that's gonna cover gas for like 2 months because it's California. You know, so
Operation Spider says, should we be considered about how woke the writer is? I don't know. Wait, is the writer of KOTOR woke? I'm not
they
sure.
obviously never met George Lucas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, hi, my name is Revan, and I am a feminist. And
Yeah.
I am here to tell you today that there is dark and light, but there's equality amongst the sexes here in this Star Wars universe.
This is how democracy dies. Woke
Yeah.
screenwriters, whatever.
One time I saw, oh God, I remember somebody did it was sort of funny, but it sort of like had some points about how like your choices in that game were like, do I want to be a bleeding heart liberal or right wing douchebag? Like every choice in it, and it like lit up, and it was like, whoa, it really kind of is saying that. So, I guess we might be in one of those situations where it was always there, but I really don't.
That is literally Padme and Anakin's relationship, by the way.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I just want to quit this Jedi stuff and spend my life winning contests. And
Obi-Wan's a
authoritarianism,
libertarian.
if it works.
Obi-Wan's a libertarian. He's like, oh, I'll just live in a hut on my own. Individualism works, you know, like whatever. Well, the whole galaxy goes to shit.
He's like, you know what? I don't support Palpatine and I won't pay taxes there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the next generation to solve. Fuck you. I'm gonna go live in Burning Man. Peace.
So, Geekdom Fans Unleashed says, question, will Revan be female? That is a good question. Did Revan have a costume difference in the female version? But for what it's worth, the Old Republic game depicted Revan as being male, as did the novels. So I would bet on Revan being male based off of what's been established before in telling that story. And also there was something. Oh no, that was the other game. Yeah, but I don't. In the end, I don't really know if it matters. You know, truly, I kind of don't care if it goes either way, personally.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other.
But yeah, but I believe the books and the Old Republic depicted him as male, cisgender, if you're woke, and they showed
just angered half the internet.
Fuck them.
Right.
No, they but I remember there being a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, there was some discontent about it when it happened, because people were like, well, I played it and it was I was a girl, or I am a girl, or whatever, and you know, what's that about? And they're like, oh, can you add the option to change it in the Old Republic? And they were like, that's really hard. No. Basically that was the gist of what their point about it was. But yeah, but I kind of think it'll probably be male, as Revan has been depicted as male, and everything outside of the versions where it wasn't us making the character. And I'm curious if that will even be an option this time, and will that be used to make Pout Rage?
I've always tended to play as female protagonists if given the opportunity. So
yeah,
I don't know, don't really care, you know, like why that is, but so yeah. I'm like, cool. If not, oh well. I figured they're gonna anger the 50% of the 1%. So 0.50 fucking math failed me, you know.
Well, if they decide Revan is male in canon, and Revan was shown in episode 9, and then they use that in the statue form anyway, which is kind of loose, I think. At least I believe.
And the statue had a big dongus too, right?
Big old bulge. But it could have been one of those, what do you call it? You know, those fake ones that people, not like this, it's not a strap on, but it's like a fake flaccid one. He might have had that. You don't know.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I am
it's
so naive, bro.
it's a thing.
L.A.
Anyways, yeah. Um, or it could have been like in Spinal Tap when he has to take the thing out because of the metal detector.
It's a florpus. I know florpus. First you bake the flanger, and then you put it in the humdinger, and then the humdinger gets stretched out and becomes the whack patty, and the whack patty. Florpus.
So Geekton says maybe they'll leave it open ended and never reveal their gender or face. Don't you aren't you the hero in that one of whatever gender you decide and then you become Revan at the end?
Yeah.
And I do remember there being something about those kind of options being off the table because of because of Jedi Fallen Order being canon. Someone was like, why can't I be a woman? And that was the answer. So my opinion, my guess, I should say, not really opinion, my guess is that they're going to limit it on this one and it will be a thing. We'll see though. Well, but because if it is canon, then Revan is either male or female. And so far, we've seen the company prefer to make Revan male. I really, in the end, like I said, I don't think it matters. I mean, there's not like if Rey was a boy or a girl in the end, for instance, in the sequel trilogy, did it really matter? Not really. There wasn't ever anything where I was like that needed to be one gender over the other. There are
But this is
times when it might matter for casting in an actor and finding like if you want it, the right actor who can be a masculine feminine or a masculine woman who is, it could be a hard thing to put talent to in the for certain projects. But in a game,
if I could have played Jedi Fallen Order with Amelia Pond as the lead character versus fucking the Joker motherfucker I can't stand, then I would have played that game. Like,
yeah.
I played the demo and I can't stand the dude. I don't know what it is about that. He's a fine actor. I don't mean anything to him. I mean, Dennis Lawson go suck it, but that guy, I just don't. Fuck that guy. But I don't get it.
Joel is mentioning a Merkin, which is, I believe, the moon of Kashyyyk. Merkin is
it's the hair on the moon of Kashyyyk.
He's all Geekdom Fans Unleashed says, personally, I wouldn't mind Keanu Reeves as Revan, but I'm not sure if he's into Star Wars or not.
He's into getting paid, bro.
That's true. He does strike me as being of the generation and of the subcultures that would have been into it. Maybe not Star Wars today necessarily, but would have grown up with the original trilogy and have been a fan of it and that kind of stuff. I do remember one thing I've actually wondered about, and this is just a side thing while we're talking about things that people get testy about. I remember Keanu Reeves being super bisexual in the early 90s.
Did you ever see My Own Private Idaho?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was My Own Private Idaho and all that. And I'm like, was that legit or was that just cashing it? You'll hear like record companies have meetings and we're like, oh, we're gonna have Rob come out as bisexual before his new single. It's gonna make a splash.
Do you not see My Lovely Decor?
Right. Yeah.
It's confusing. That was Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yeah, but I mean, but you don't really hear anything about that. And maybe that just goes against his action hero stuff. But it is interesting to see him having been more of a I don't know if he was sort of not subversive. He was never subversive, but he was a bit more rock and roll, a bit more David Bowie. And then now he's doing Bill and Ted and he can't even break out of the character. He's like, I'm Bill Preston Esquire. He's completely in the action hero guy all the time. It's interesting, but it's not to say you can't be an action hero and be bisexual either, but
yeah, I mean, there's a multiverse where David Bowie became a fantastic action hero, where Labyrinth was a rounding success, and they gave him a role in Die Hard 2, or you know what I mean? Like he was the Rickman replacement or something, you know?
Anne Rice wrote these witch novels that were in the same universe as the Vampire Chronicles.
I could see
And
this.
it's called Taltos, and it was the Witching Hour, and 13 generations. This one book, it's like this thick, and it's 13 generations of witches, and it's all to get this very specific, these cousins to mate, and all of this stuff to get this specific set of a soulless baby, to create a soulless baby after 13 generations. And this being called the Taltos takes possession of the baby and is reborn, and they grow up to be these like kind of like lanky things. She based it on David Bowie and wanted David Bowie to play it. And man, I'm mad that they never made that into a movie, and that they never got David Bowie to like do it, because he would have been fantastic in that. Stupids. And man,
it's the pause and then stupid. Like
stupid.
it's very UHF. So stupid.
I just showed that to my kids this week. My kids love parody and spoofs, and I was like, okay, it's time. I'm like, it's bedtime. If you guys stay up and watch it because it's good enough for you, cool. If not, go to bed and shut up.
Do you know why I tuned in to watch Seinfeld in 1989 or 90 when it debuted? Because of Stanley Spadowski.
Yeah.
Stanley Spadowski lightsabering with his mop, or putting kids in front of fire hoses and launching them across.
Yeah.
Michael, if you want to see the genius of a young Michael Richards, go watch UHF. Like there is an untapped talent at that point that for whatever reason just did not get to do. But yeah.
Well, you could hang out with your uncle now.
Unfortunate. Look, did you see the Getting Coffees and Cars with was it Seinfeld does that Coffees and Cars? Did you see the Michael Richards episode?
Yeah.
That kind of, like, you could just, that's one of those things, man, where it's like the guy, I'm never gonna fucking give anyone a pass for using that word. You need to own the shit you said and the consequences. I'll say this too. Anyone who thinks going up on stage and doing stand-up is something that you might be good at, don't. Like, I don't care. Like, it's just not. Like, it's just not for 99.999% of fucking people. And that dude specifically, like, found that out that night. Like, you fucking idiot, you know? But I hope that the dude has done more than just quit and actually got real help, you know, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Everyone needs to have the opportunity to come back. My uncle won't, though. He's dying on his hill, you know? So, well, it is what it is.
It's the Darth Vader shows us one thing: you never know. Wow, this is a name, Thanura Ravindra. Are you in Willow? Are you the new hero in Willow?
I was gonna say it's a very Willow name.
Very Willow name. If they are making this game into canon, I'd like to see the Darksaber make a cameo somewhere. Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't like the visual look of the Darksaber.
Really, I love it.
Am I the only person who thinks it looks like a weird After Effects effect? It doesn't. I don't know, man. There's something that
it's time.
I don't think they've nailed the look of it yet. All right.
It is time. I gotta pick up the kiddos. But yeah, so we're doing a UFO show tomorrow?
If you want to.
I do.
We gotta talk about that crazy boat thing, because I think it ties all into UFO stuff too. There's a UFO component to that story too, now that I remember right. There is. So
yeah. I'm down. So
I will dig that up.
What time works for you? Does 8 work, or you want to do it
same time as always? Yeah.
Okay.
Same time as always.
Yeah, I'll message Jason P and see if he is coming aboard or not. You never know, but I hope he does.
And if he doesn't, he can send me the $5 next time. Give me a membership.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow talking about UFOs. If you're interested, come hang out. If you have a UFO experience, bring it to us. I want to hear it.
Now this clone don't move, he was born in a drum, lives by the rule 2, in silk pajamas, he's all deformed, 20-foot Palpatine, then along come 2, cut him just above his knees, they got different Snokes it takes, different Snokes it takes, different Snokes to move the world. world. Nobody's got a special kind of story. Nobody finds a way to shine. It don't matter that you got a doubt. So what? They'll have hugs and you'll have pain and I'll have nine. Together we'll be fine. 'Cause it takes different stones to move the world. Yes it does. It takes different stones to move the world.